What is it that you come out of this session feeling the most proud of, feeling as though was the biggest accomplishment?
I mean, there's a lot over this past 4 or 5 months.
State Senator Maddie Daughtry from Brunswick has filed a bill to revamp the state's Career and Technical Education, or CTE.
How do we make it work for students across our state? Does that mean potentially having different centers based on locality and demand?
Maine's community colleges will double the amount of people who can enroll in nursing programs, from about 240 to 480 graduates each year.
Senate President Troy Jackson is hoping to improve sexual assault reporting and victim care at Maine's universities.
LD 1727 will ensure that every institution of higher education in Maine has a memorandum of understanding with a local sexual assault support center and domestic violence resource center.
It would allow survivors a support system that would tip the scales in favor of completing their education and would undoubtedly increase the quality of life on campuses everywhere.
When I'm trying to recruit, I say we're looking for your leftovers. Generally, we can fill a schedule by enough people and their leftovers, but there are so many times when we have to go out of service because we don't have a driver.
If we're in that rural place and we have a stroke and we have something, we want that call and we want them there fast.
What this doesn't do is tell a community how they should do it. What it does do is provide subject matter experts who understand the complexities of staffing an ambulance.
Maine has 2 new laws that are going to go into effect in the coming months, and they have to do with providing more postpartum care coverage to women in our state.
LD 1357 for women with private insurers and LD 265 for Maine care recipients. Senator Carney says her motivator is to reduce the high maternal mortality in the U.S.
I think that we'll see a significant decrease in the duration of postpartum depression. People will still experience postpartum depression, but now they'll be able to get treatment for it.
Speaker of the Maine House Ryan Fecta was the sponsor of LD 1652, a bill the Maine legislature passed to provide more funding to our state's childcare workforce and avoid creating an extra financial burden on parents.
As well as providing direct support to Maine's childcare workers, it would also help career and technical schools expand their early childhood education programs.
As the cost to heat homes this winter skyrocket, Democrats in Augusta believe they have a plan to help. The bills proposed by the delegation hit different aspects of the energy market. One would give one-time tax credits to certain electric users, while another helps cut down on so-called red tape when it comes to distributing financial assistance for those who can't afford the rising cost of heating oil. There's also legislation to create a group of stakeholders tasked with studying future increases in utility rates.
Topping our news, Maine veterans' homes in Caribou and Machias will remain open for the foreseeable future.
I definitely wanted to let the veterans that live in these homes know that the Maine legislature is trying to do everything we can to save these facilities and keep them up and running and make sure that people know they'll have a home and that they'll have a place to work in those homes.
Most of us, Mr. President, take the availability of clean, clear drinking water for granted. We turn on the taps in our homes and in this building and trust that what comes out looks and smells and tastes like water. But for a moment, let's pretend we don't. Let's pretend that when we turn on the faucets in the shower or the kitchen, that the water is brown. Women and men of the Senate, that is the experience of the Passamaquoddy trying to access water on their own land. This legislation would clarify that the tribe, working with the EPA, can regulate its own drinking water on its own lands without interference from the state or any of her political subdivisions.
New relief checks could start going out to Mainers soon. Governor Mills will sign the supplemental budget into law this afternoon. The budget includes $850 checks for more than 850,000 Mainers. It also includes tax relief.
Permanently expanding the property tax fairness credit for eligible working families and older Mainers. It brings the maximum benefit to $1,000 per year for those under age 65 and $1,500 per year for those 65 and older. The budget would invest in long-term care facilities like nursing homes. It would also invest $25 million in Maine's hospitals. Also in the budget, lowering the cost of college. All students who graduate high school from 2020 to 2023 get 2 free years of Maine Community College.
University of Maine system students are reaping the benefits of the budget too. Thanks to almost $8 million in funding, there will be no in-state tuition increase increase.
And it will address some ongoing issues with funding to help better test for PFAS, forever chemicals, support for Maine's lobstering industry, and provisions to further help students with student loan debt.